off his chest pad.
So 3rd and 18 coming up for the Rough Riders.
Call it the Terrence Williams.
But touching back on the Rough Riders head coach, man, so he came from a lot of prestigious high schools. Hebron, Allen, I believe you said he went to.
Yeah, he's alumnus of South Lake Carroll High School, where he won 2 state championships in '92 and '93.
Interesting. I didn't even know South Lake Carroll was winning championships back then, honestly. I thought they started their greatness like mid-2000s.
And I remember last year, as the Rough Riders failed to pick up 3rd down, I was preparing for the South Lake Byron game and studying on them a lot, and I found out, yeah, they had some titles in the 90s, early 2000s. I think it was like 6 total titles since '92, somewhere around there.
Oh, and that punt is blocked. Huge play by the Texans special teams unit. Got the block on the punt.
Yeah, that was the senior Ryan Elrod, number 32, who got in there, blocked that one.
Huge play. So it's going to set up Jay Strong in that Texas offense with marvelous field position. At the 24, almost in the red zone immediately. Looking to go in the air, Jake Strong looking downfield. He has a man. That's the Niki, and he's in the end zone. That's a touchdown. 1 strike.
Well, I said last week, or last game, Keenan Real had the 4 touchdown catches, and Jake Strong threw for 6. Shannon DeNicki had the other 2 touchdown catches, one of his best games of his career. 7 catches, 80 yards, and 2 scores, and there he is striking again. That touchdown, giving him his 4th on the year. It was a great job coming open on the deep crosser, and nice job after the catch.
Yeah, absolutely. Good looking play there. And the extra point is good. Adding on to that lead. Texas 14, Rough Riders nothing. At Academy Sports and Outdoors, back to school also means back to sport, and from graphic tees to football cleats, we have everything you need to make this your best year yet. Swing by your local Academy store today or shop online at academy.com. You can find all the hottest styles from top brands like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, and Vans, all at a price you'll love. So if you want game-changing gear, start here at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
This game already heading in the direction that we were kind of feeling and predicting. It is definitely a tough mountain for Rough Riders to climb, just coming into this one, what they've done the past few weeks. Team that has struggled offensively and defensively, and really running into a hot Northwest team.
Absolutely, yeah. On a 2-game winning streak, put up 52 last week. And the Rough Riders, like I said, on a 4-game skid, and they've given up 60 in almost every single one. The only one they did was a 52 loss to Sherman. So, yeah, they haven't looked great so far this year. And honestly, watching them, as we look at this, he fields the return. Good return there. There is a flag on the play, though, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, they're very one-dimensional. They're all running. And it doesn't look like they're doing that great on the running game anyway. So it's, yeah.
Flag on the return. The returner was Jimmy Howard, a sophomore receiver. Let's then come back a little bit. So back at the 31.
Chavez going to the air. Screen pass here. It's caught. Not much going there.
I mean, some of the receivers for Saginaw, their leading receiver is Cooper Faulkner, the junior. And he has 15 catches, 161 yards, and 2 scores. But another false start penalty on Saginaw.
Yeah, Cooper Faulkner, he didn't even have a catch last week. I mean, there was only 3 completions total last week, but yeah, he didn't even have a catch last week. Speaking of which, he's in the slot up top. Let's see if they can get him the ball. And he's running down the sidelines wide open, but Chavez looks in the other direction, and you can look and you can see the frustration on Faulkner. He streaked down the sideline wide open, but Chavez just didn't look his direction, unfortunately.
I definitely wanted to see early, get the ball to him quick, and let him make those plays.
So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 14 for the Rough Riders offense. I believe this is probably going to be their 3rd pass in a row. Run first team came out and did all throws. Looking downfield, the ball falls incomplete. Chad Phillips was there with the coverage. There is a flag. Is on the offense, so it'll stay 4th down.
Boy, that's at least 4 offensive penalties. 4 offensive penalties and the pass interference. That's 5 penalties I can count real quick on Saginaw so far. 2 false starts, 2 holds, 1 being on the kick return, and the pass interference.
Man, 5 penalties in just 6 minutes of football. Chad Phillips fields the punt. Good return here. Running away from defenders, breaking tackles. He's finally brought down at about the 48-yard line. Good looking return there from Phillips. So another good field position for the Texas offense. That's Ricardo Dyer. Good looking run there. Keep it on the ground there. It's 1st down for the Texas offense. Jake Strong dropping back. Looking downfield, he has a man and it's caught. That's Logan Jeffchick in on the catch.
Great protection up front. Plenty of time for Strong to stay in the pocket, survey around.
Back to the air they go. Strong looking downfield, looking to run. He has an opening, And he's in the end zone for another score. Great run from Jake Strong.
He had 25 yards on the scramble, and how about the end of the run? He didn't have to get physical with that defender. He seeked it out and went through the defender.
When you going all them yards, you're like, man, no one even touched me yet. You come get some.
Yeah, he turned on a second gear once he got to the 10 to kind of get past a few defenders. Jake Strong really showed off the wheels. Good for his third rushing touchdown. I mean, he's run for 363 yards on the season and has a 100-yard rushing game. With his 2 rushes today, he's probably about around 400.
And the extra point is good. Texans have 21, Rough Riders have nothing. Still 4:03 left in this first quarter.
Quick 21-0 jump by the Texans, and again, this is kind of the feel it had. And this is what Northwest did a lot last year. What they've done so far this year, they get after it early. Team that wants to get in front and play with the lead rather than play from behind. Not as much going on in the area scoreboard with it being a Thursday. Really no teams with any connections to us.
Yeah, they're probably all going to play Friday or tomorrow.
For the off teams. And I think about Northwest, even going back to last year, they always kind of get the maybe short end of the stick, if you will, on their other schedule. They get it feels like more Thursday games than anybody. They put a Saturday game the other week.
Yeah.
They don't get a lot of Friday night lights.
Yeah, I definitely prefer I'd much rather play a Friday. When I was in high school, I don't think I ever played a Thursday game, except for when I was on JV. And yeah, I'd much rather play a Friday night game. It just gives you that feel, you know.
Knowing you can go out there and do anything and not worry about going to school the next day.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you have to go back to school and do your film and stuff, but yeah, you don't have to go to class or anything. So yeah, those were the good old days. But yeah, Thursday it's weird because it's like you play your game and then you wake up and then you have to go to class. Yeah. Chavez looking downfield. He has a man that's caught. That was Tariq Shaver in on the catch, making up for his earlier drop.
Yeah, that was a nice looking design. They had a lot of action going to the other side of the field. Trying to get the defense moving that way a little bit, get the quarterback moving, but if another flag moves him back, actually.
And so you get your first completion of the game, your first down in the game, and penalties. Another penalty makes you lose that, fortunately. I was just about to say, man, if they can get something started, maybe they can get back in this game.
You can't take away that. It was a good looking play, though. Something they'll probably come back to. And they're out there in a 5-wide set.
Yeah, they were in a 5-wide the whole drive last time, so I guess maybe they're going to actually try to throw.
And Chad Phillips just dropped the pick 6.
Man.
The ball went through the zipped past the receiver, and then I don't think he expected to get past his receiver and hit him right in the chest.
So 2nd and 15 coming up. Chavez under duress. He lets it go. Ball falls incomplete. There are 2 men in the area.
Yeah, when you get pressure, you lose your mechanics and your fundamentals. Chavez just did whatever he could to get that ball out, and lucky it fell harmlessly incomplete.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of traffic in that area. So big 3rd and 15 coming up here for the Rough Riders. quick throw. Chavez is complete. They pick up a little bit on that play, but it's going to bring up a 4th down.
I think the Texans are fine defensively, letting them stay in a 5 wide. They're going to keep their 3 down linemen, bring maybe one more to bring about 4 guys, and they feel like they can get to the quarterback, generate some pressure, some exotic blitzes, and put some duress on Chavez.
I mean, that drive, they got pressure on him, it seemed like every single play, so Phillips fields the punt, makes a man miss. He's finally brought down at about the 40. That's where the Texans offense will get started. This might be their worst starting field position of the game.
Yeah, definitely is.
And
it's only by a few yards.
In a sense, it's actually very good field position. But so far, they've been blessed with a great starting field position the whole game. Very short field.
They have kept the ball from going to their side of the 35 all game.
Yeah. So they actually got to drive the ball to score this drive, if you would say that. Phillips has it. Good looking play there. Takes the swing pass up the field for a 1st down. Or actually, they're going to mark him short, so they say it's a catch of 9 yards, so it's 2nd and 1 coming up. Ground they go. That's Ricardo Dyer dragging defenders, picking up the 1st down. It's a timeout on the field, so we will take a timeout.
If you're trying to buy or lease or sell your property, I can be the one you call for all your real estate needs.
Hi there, I'm Lily with Lily More Realty. And
huge play here. And that's going to be a touchdown. That's Kyle Kennard. I'm a little confused. So I guess they said there was a fumble on that play by Chad Phillips. So they give the ball to the Rough Riders. First play, Kyle Kennard, huge run, and the Rough Riders get on the board. So huge change possession there.
Yeah, our apologies. We thought there was a timeout on the field. And yeah, I guess there was a fumble on the Dyer run, and we didn't really get signal or a feel from any bench that there was a turnover play. But the ball goes to the Rough Riders, and they score in the first play and then have the extra point blocked.
Yeah, I was very confused because I noticed they both came off the field. It looked like they called a timeout, and I noticed they changed units. I was like, wait, what's going on? Oh, so I guess, yeah, there was a fumble on the Dyer play. Rough Riders recovered it. First play, they score, and yes, the extra point was blocked, so the score is 21-6. 2:13 left in this quarter. Huge turn events for the Rough Riders there.
Yeah, and do something that they've struggled, score. Coming off their last few games, has to feel good to break a run like that. Their longest run on the season, Kennard had a 60-yarder earlier this year. And that was right in that ballpark. I'd have better information and stats, but my computer is just not being my friend today. Rolled a fumble on Dyer. see that happen because it was one of those plays. He was in a pile of bodies, a lot of guys around him. Anything kind of happened in there.
You didn't even see, like, the Rough Riders didn't even, like, usually when you recover a fumble, you start jumping up and down and, like, nothing happened. They just came off the field. That's why I was like, yeah, I didn't. And that's going to be a bad kick. Goes out of bounds. So we'll see if the Texans can respond and stop the comeback effort from the Rough Riders. Albeit being the first quarter. We're still in the first quarter.
Dyer does go back out. We've seen him in the last few possessions. Cummings had the early touchdown, kind of looking to see where he's at on the sideline. Looks fine.
Right back to Dyer they go. Trying to redeem himself from the fumble. Good looking run, picks up a first down.
Just getting some reps to Dyer. Cummings is fine on the sideline.
They keep it with Dyer. He runs over a defender, breaks that tackle, and picks up another first down. Good run there. Good strong run. Looked like he was stood up and he just threw him off him and kept running. Back-to-back first down runs from Dyer. To the air they go, Strong scanning the field, looking downfield. He has a man wide open. It's complete. Brought down, dropped at the 20. That was Chad Phillips in on the catch.
A lot of extra going on in the deep secondary. Logan Jeskovich, and couldn't even catch which Rough Rider it was, but there was a little bit of shoving. He was on the Jeskovich was on the ground, and the Rough Rider jumped on top of him, nowhere near the play. But going back to the play, great job. I love the two verts to kind of take the safeties out and then come underneath it.
This is actually going to be a timeout this time. So we'll take a pause. We'll be right back. You're watching the Rough Riders and Texans on Vype Live.
Injuries can be overcome. Returns can be triumphant. The top of your game is well within reach. From comprehensive care to advanced research, everything you need to rehab, recover, and refuel your performance is in the playbook at Texas Health Sports Medicine.
We are back. First down and 10 coming up for the Texans after the big play from Phillips. Strong in trouble, rolling right, looking downfield. That falls incomplete. He was looking for number 5, Terry Duncan, the sophomore wide receiver.
And that's one I would like to see Strong get out quick. He had Real initially, the one-on-one post. Real had to step on him. Definitely a throw that he could have made and been in rhythm. Instead tried to extend it to his right.
So it's going to be 2nd and 10. Daniki comes in motion. Back to the ground they go. That's Ricardo Dyer. Big run here. He's finally brought down after picking up the first down, setting up a 1st and goal for the Texans. It's Dyer again. Not much going on that play.
Texans having a lot of success running to that left side behind a couple of their veteran linemen, Kentel Matthews and Michael Walters, Harlan Hill, the center. All guys that were getting big reps last year and starting.
They just keep it on the ground here. That's Dyer. Tackled short of the end zone again.
I mean, you look at the size of those guys on the left side. Kentel Matthews, 6'6", 288. Michael Walter, 6'5", 312. As quarter comes to an end. Harlan Hill, the center, 6 foot, 252. Go ahead and keep it here. So, kind of recap on the first quarter. Texans lead 21-6 over the Rough Riders. The Texans score the first 21 points. Rough Riders got ball first, 3 and out forced by the Texans. Nice drive. Finished off by the Kyle Cummings touchdown run. Next possession, pretty much another 3 and out. They get the ball back. Great field position off the Chad Phillips return. And that one was Keenan Real touchdown. No.
Shannon Denicky.
The Denicky touchdown. He missed Real in the end zone, then scored to Denicky. Making 14-0, and then Jake Strong, a 25-yard touchdown run.
Good looking scramble there from him.
Yeah, not a design run.
Untouched into the end zone. Well, he made himself get touched. Trying to run over the last defender, but yeah, Texans look dominant in the first quarter so far. I mean, other than
what, 2 plays?
Fumble, other than the 2 plays where back-to-back plays, the fumble, and then I believe it was about a 60-yard run from Kyle Kennard. Yeah, they've been very dominant. Rough Riders haven't been able to do much, and they have not been able to stop them so far. So the Texans are knocking on the door again. See if they can put up another score here.
Interesting formation. I would say it's normally a QB keeper formation.
Strong has pick and choose whoever he wants. It's another Texans touchdown.
That was the Joseph Rivas, the guy who's been coming alive as of lately.
Yeah.
He's not someone I was out of my radar coming into the season. A couple weeks ago in that game, he had a big game when we had him.
Huge game against Cooper.
And then
I believe he scored 3 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, against Cooper.
Yeah, and then even last week against Arlington Heights, he's still out there getting looks, 3 catches. On the depth chart, listed as one of the starting 4 receivers, and there he is, striking again for his 4th touchdown of the season.
He had 3 in the one game. Like I said, he went crazy in that Cooper game. That was kind of his coming out party.
One of 4 receivers on this team over 100 yards receiving.
And the extra point is good. Texans respond to the Rough Riders' long touchdown. 28-6 at the beginning of the second. Get ready to go back to school and back to sport at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Shop and store online at academy.com. You can find all the hottest sports gear and casual styles from Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, and more.
I want to see what Northwest's plans are in these kickoffs still. They've all been these short, kind of high pooch kicks that ideally most of the time I'd given the Rough Riders decent field position, but a lot of times they end up with a holding call.
Yeah.
You're just never sure if it's more of the Texans keeping it away from returner or working on something themselves.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, you'd like to see the Rough Riders take advantage of that. They've kind of bailed them out, fair caught it, haven't tried to return it, and as we say that, they finally kicked the ball deep this time. Returner drops it, he's able to corral it, and he's brought down, and there's nothing going on that return.
That was Kennard.
Starting running back, trying to make something happen, and not much going there. So Rough Riders are going to be pinned starting out this possession.
Yeah, just wasn't in a great position to field it. Tried to go backwards to catch it around the 5. That's one where I think coaches are trying to emphasize now, that free fair catch that you can use and get out to 25, even if it's in the field of play, not in the end zone.
Little action from the bands trying to wave at each other here. So Chavez looking downfield. He's in trouble trying to scramble. He's brought down. That's going to be a sack.
Couple Texans in the area. Caught Jacob Moody, junior defensive lineman.
Gavino Ramos getting that sack. One of the main guys in there.
Moody, Ashton Peterson, Ramos, haven't even called Jackson Stereoman's name yet. A lot of playmakers in that front 7.
Give him a loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Kyle Kennard, good looking run, runs over a defender, finally brought down.
Called the right play there. Chad Phillips was coming in on a corner blitz from this close side on the backside, ran away from the blitz, and nice job cutting up field by Kennard. Not trying to get too wide on it.
Yeah.
So easy to, when the play's going that way, to try to shrink it out.
Yeah, that was a nice looking cut back there. Then he runs over defender. They give him 6 on that run. Chavez looking downfield. He has a man. Is it caught? I think they say it is. And it is, so the Rough Riders pick up a first down.
Yeah, that was the junior wide receiver, and bear with me, Meshach Turimba.
Back to the ground game they go.
Let you take a look at that. The name on number 1 for
I'm gonna let, that's all
Rough
you,
Riders.
Man. That's all you. Yeah, I would say it's Meshach. Yeah, I can't even. I can't even do that, man. Yeah, you got it, man. Good catch by them though, picking up the first down for the Rough Riders.
Another flag out before the snap.
So Rough Riders continuing picking up penalties. Man, that's what, their 7th penalty so far.
I want to say at least.
Barely into the second quarter. Man, that's
our unofficial count. I believe that was the left guard. So number 53, Jaden Robinson.
good looking play here. And they pick up another first down. So the Rough Riders, they get that touchdown on that one play that after the fumble, and this is their best look. I mean, obviously they scored one play, but this is their best looking drive so far in the game.
If you're a little bamboozled the way how successfully they're kind of moving the ball through the air.
Yeah, you think, I mean, you look at their stat sheet, you see 3 for 10 when you lost 6-5-0. You just assume, yeah, they can't. There's no way they can throw the ball, and then I mean, to be fair, the first few drives they were not throwing the ball very well, but this drive, wow, is a huge run here by Kennard. Another Rough Rider first down, starting to gain some momentum for this offense. But yeah, the last few drives when they've put the ball in the air, they've got completions, they've looked decent. So we'll see if they bring a more balanced attack this game. I mean, they are down 22, but last 2 drives have been good drives. If they can get a stop on defense and their offense can sustain this momentum, maybe they can get back in this game. There's a lot of ball game left. Back to Kennard they go, breaking tackles, and he is running hard. Another good looking run from him.
Yeah, the Texans are sending extra defenders to try to make plays in the backfield. They are playing mostly for the run, but They're getting back there, and when you send guys to get back there and they miss, then you're out of position. Then you're in big trouble. And that's what happened the last few plays for Northwest.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. This is a drive that started at their own 10. They are now in Texan territory. Huge run from Kennard, breaking tackles. He's tackled. The referee's marking him short. I think that's a touchdown. That was a touchdown. That was a touchdown.
The way he extended that ball, that was an extremely impressive run.
That was a touchdown. I don't think, I mean, there's no review in high school, so I guess they're not going to give it to him, but that was 100% a touchdown. I had a great view of that. He stretched it right when he came down. Oh, man, he's going to be tackled short of the end zone. You just kind of hope that that was a touchdown. You just hope he doesn't get, you know what I mean? Like, because after that run, he deserves a touchdown. I'm sorry. You run that hard and you actually score, because it really did look like he scored. I think you deserve your touchdown. But we'll see if the Texans can get a stop here. Ball falls incomplete, so it is going to be 3rd and goal coming up here. You got to think this is a 4th down territory, so possibly 2 more plays left. You got to wonder how much gas does Kennard have left in him after he's basically been this whole drive. Still out there. He does have his hands on his hips. We'll see if he has anything left to punch the ball in.
Like I said, yeah. Ideally 2 plays, maybe just try to punch it in straight to the middle. Him or Chavez, just take the snap and try to get straight ahead.
And they do give him this touchdown. It's going to be a Rough Rider touchdown. Kennard gets in for his 2nd score. I mean, he had to do another 2 carries after scoring 3 plays ago, but he finally gets his touchdown 2 plays later.
And big credit to the Rough Riders staying and fighting in this game. Again, still early, 7 minutes in the 2nd quarter, but fell behind 21-0 quick and still hanging around. Again, a team that hadn't scored much at all the past few weeks.
And the extra point is no good, so the score stays at 28-12. Rough Riders still trailing by 16.
The Rough Riders are averaging 10 points a game over the last 3 contests.
And they got 12 here, so most points they scored, I believe, since what, week 1, correct?
Oh, they had 20 in the Brewer game 2 weeks ago.
Right. Yeah, they did have 20.
A couple weeks ago, they had a bye week, so back on September 17th, they had 20 in the 66-20 loss to Brewer. And again, looking like a team that came to play a little bit and definitely outplaying some expectations early.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, they're just telling the Texans right now, we're not just going to roll over and let you stomp us out here. We came here to fight. We came here to play. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. First, because just, you know, looking at their scouting report, looking at their last few games, and it seemed the way they did look on the first few drives, I didn't think they'd be able to score today, honestly. But
well, now let's see if their defense can get a stop. They got the one fumble and kind of on a weird play. Dyer had a lot of guys on him, and the fumble was their one stop. But other than that, Northwest has been driving down the field with ease.
Yeah, scored every drive fairly easy. Short kick fielded at the 15. Brought up, that's Keenan Real. Great return here. Running away from people. Finally brought down. The ball did pop loose. We'll see if they...
Officials calling him down.
He was down.
Yeah, if side rest calling him down already.
Okay, yeah. It did look like he was down, but you never know.
And
great return from Keenan Real.
Flag is out. Likely gonna come back. How those work?
Yeah.
But that was designed. If you watch it, Keenan Real catches it on this close side to us, the left side of the field, and goes immediately to the middle of the field. And you look, he had a tunnel of blockers set up.
Oh yeah, that was a beautiful return. But one of them gets Gets caught holding on the play, so it is going to be pushed back, unfortunately.
Looking more at Coach Dane Johnson's profile. Listen to this. Dane excelled as a Dragon in a way only one word can describe: champion. Johnson established himself as a hometown hero and a legend in the school's history, and he was the first South Lake Carroll alumni to be inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
Huge run here, first play. That's Kyle Cummins again. That's incredible. So he's
into the school district's Athletic Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's incredible. So he's the first player inducted into the Hall of Fame
for South Lake.
For South Lake, yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know who's all in the Hall of Fame, but I know they've had a lot of great players. So that's incredible. Jake Strong looking downfield. He has a man wide open. That's Jessic. It's caught. He is able to break the tackle and get into the end zone. Two-play strike for the Texans offense, and they said, what comeback?
And Jake Strong showing off that strong arm, huh?
Oh, yeah.
they were able to run something. I'd love to see another look on it, on how Jeskovich got that wide open in the back.
I didn't see how he got that open either. He's just streaking down the field wide open.
Nice job by Strong to find him.
Not a man in sight.
So easy to outrun a lot of your quarterback's arms in a situation like that, but Jake Strong had enough.
And the extra point is good. Texans strike back. Score is 35-12, 6:16 left here in the second quarter. Get ready to go back to school and back to sport at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Shop in store online at academy.com. You can find all the hottest sport styles and casual styles from Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, and more. So right when you think the Rough Riders might possibly start a comeback, Jake Strong and his offense comes out and they say, no, we're not going to allow that. Two plays, huge play, and they score.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Can this Rough Riders defense make a stand, get a stop, other than the one kind of weird fumble play?
Right now, it's not.
I'm saying so far, it does not look like.
Right now, no, it's not looking like they can, but we'll see. Because honestly, I didn't think they could score, and they surprised me in that area. You never know. You almost got to feel like if you can't stop them, do you just start like doing the onside kicks? Because at the end of the day, if they're gonna score if they can score from 70 or 60, they can score from 40 or 30. So you might as well take a risk and start doing the onside kicks. You know, that's the way I would look at it. Like, I mean, obviously you gotta have trust in your defense, but at the same time, it's like you've had what, 6 drives and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And on the one you didn't score, you were.
Hey, they were moving the ball.
Yeah. Two big plays back to back, and then there was the fumble. So, I mean, if it's me, if I was the coach, that's something I would consider. But obviously, you do have to score first before you can attempt an onside kick.
Look at some of our early stats, courtesy of the Dallas Morning News. Jake Strong, 6 of 9, 130 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 incompletions, 3 scores.
And the Rough Riders keep the ball on the ground, not much going there.
3 passing touchdowns. He also has 1 with his legs, so 4 total first half scores for Strong. Kyle Kennard, though, for the Rough Riders for that play, 10 carries, 127 yards, and 2 scores.
That's crazy. All in the first, a lot, barely, not even a full first half yet. Play action pass here. Chavez in trouble. He just throws that one away. Davino Ramos came down there in a hurry, put a lot of pressure on that quarterback.
Yeah, just not fooled by the play action.
No, not at all. down and long coming up here for the Rough Riders. Chavez looking downfield, and that falls incomplete.
And Chavez ended up on the ground, faced pressure again.
You know, after you said Cooper Faulkner, number 3, he's their leading receiver. I don't know if has he had a target yet? I don't think he's had a target yet.
Does not seem like we've called Faulkner's name at all.
Well, I'll call it he is in for punt protection. Not a great looking punt there. Takes a Rough Rider roll. They're going to down it at the 40, so the Texans offense will get to work from there. 5:10 left here in the second quarter.
So Northwest gets the ball in plus territory, marked at the 41 officially. For an offense that has been moving with ease.
First down. Ball's handed off. Call comes and he fumbles. And the Rough Riders clearly recover it. Huge play from the for the Rough Riders defense.
Yeah, and I was wondering where Kyle Cummins had been the past few drives after the touchdown. We didn't really see him. It had been dire. And I'm not sure what's going on with the Texans running backs. Each one have a fumble.
And they've lost both of them.
Each one has a fumble. Yeah, fumble in the first half. And again, this is right after the Texans got their best field position of the day. Maybe the second best, but
yeah, well, yeah, second best after that
blocked punt.
The blocked punt, yeah, because they started out, I believe, at the 24 on that one, and this one was at the 40. But man, you just gotta. I mean, obviously you have 35-12 lead, so you do have some cushion. And there's a man wide open, and it's broken up. Make out the number.
That's such a long throw. That ball hung in the air for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He was wide open, though, but it hung in the air long enough so the defender can get over there and break it up.
Yeah, Chavez is from the far hash, trying to get all the way to the sideline.
Yeah.
Trying to hit Frankie Harris, number 7, junior receiver.
It's a good play by him. Keeper here rolling left. Pick up about 5 on that play. So I find it kind of funny how we were talking about how the Rough Riders defense hasn't been able to stop the Texans offense other than the one fumble, and then they say, well, yeah, we can make a fumble again and get another stop.
It's an all or nothing defense. Normally you always hear bend but don't break, but here's an all or nothing defense.
It's a turnover or touchdown defense at this point right now. So 3rd and 5 coming up here. Weird looking play. I don't know if that was supposed to be like a draw play or what, but it's like they just both kind of froze in it. So it's going to be 4th and 5 coming up here. And the Rough Riders going to bring in their punt team.
Yeah, if you're Northwest, those are definitely kind of maybe a fake territory I'd keep an eye on.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
On a 4th and 5.
Man, you got to be disappointed if you're Rough Riders. You get gifted a fumble at the 40, you know, and then you're unable to do much of anything with it. Ball's gonna be fielded by Chad Fields. Dangerous play. He fumbles, but he's able to recover it. He's in trouble. Or maybe he's not. He's running away from everyone. Great return here. There is a flag thrown, and he's brought down at the 40, but there is a flag.
One of the biggest roller coaster of emotions returns that you can see. When the ball was bouncing, I was like, no way Phillips grabs this. Is a defender right there.
Yeah.
It does try to field it, and so what happens when you field it badly? You fumble. Able to pick it up though, still on the run.
Yeah.
Run
and run away
and then come
yeah.
back this way.
Yeah.
And guys get turned around. It's easy to get that hold or block in the back.
Yeah. So
especially when you don't know the return's going.
Back. It always pains me when I see a huge play like that and it's called back. I'm like, man, just let it stand. You know, like that was such an amazing play.
Chad Phillipson doing a lot of impressive stuff in the return game.
Oh yeah, for sure. So 3:21 left in the half. Back to Dyer they go. Good looking run, first play. So timeout on the field for the injured player. We'll step away. We'll be right back.
If you're trying to buy or lease, or sell your property, I can be the one you call for all your real estate needs.
Hi there, I'm Lily with Lily More Realty, and I'm a proud community member and Northwest ISD sponsor. For me, your experience is personal.
If you're trying to buy or lease, or sell your property, I can be the one you call for all your real estate needs. Yeah.
Injuries can be overcome. Returns can be triumphant. The top of your game is well within reach. From comprehensive care to advanced research, everything you need to rehab, recover, and refuel your performance is in the playbook at Texas Health Sports Medicine.
So the injured player Zaire Madkins is being helped off the field. You hope he's okay. 2nd and 4 coming up here for this Texans offense. 3:03 left here in this first half. Back to Dyer they go. Huge run here. Breaks a tackle. Finally brought down at about the 42-yard line.
Once again, Northwest into Rough Rider territory and like pick up the pace a little bit. The Texans get the ball in the second half kick.
They're going to keep it on the ground here. Dyer, he's wrapped up immediately. He's able to turn a loss of 1 yard to probably a gain of 2. They're just going to keep it on the ground. That's Dyer again. Another big run, breaking tackles. He has a wide open field here. Finally thrown out of bounds. They're going to mark him out at the 12. Huge run from Dyer there.
Yeah, that's impressive. Rough Riders are showing a cover 3 kind of look with the 2 corners sagging off and then kind of 1 deep safety over there. So a lot of guys kind of in the box around that area, but they keep you spread out with these 3 to 4 receivers that they always have on the field.
Back to Dyer they go. It's been all Dyer this drive. Dragging the defender, finally brought down inside the 5. It's going to be 1st and goal coming up here for the Texans offense.
This is one of those, it just feels like Coach Poe or offensive coordinator Brad Clark have a plan, because Jake Strong's had a nearly perfect game, but here they are just last 2 possessions, even after the fumble, keeping it on the ground.
They just keep it with Dyer.
So you should let this clock run a good amount before you snap this 3rd and 1. They won't, but they should.
So yeah, so they didn't give them the first down on that last play.
Yeah, they can get a first down still inside the 1. Can they?
Yes. Well, no,
Yeah.
I guess not.
No,
'Cause
yeah,
they're
sticks
on
it
the
down.
1, so it says, yes, I guess it's 3rd and goal. But that shouldn't have been like that, because if they had the ball at the 12, first down should have been at the 2, but nonetheless, they get the score anyway. Dyer is able to cash in. That was an all Dyer drive. But yeah, that should have been a 1st and goal, though, honestly. Because it was at the 12, and he got a run of, they marked him down at the 3. So when he was down at the 1, it should have been 1st and goal from the 1. But it doesn't really matter because they were able to score regardless. So
Take a 30-point lead with 57 seconds left in the half. Again, they receive the second half kick, so hold the Rough Riders here. There's this last possession of the second quarter. Get it back, and you can really start maybe putting the nails in the coffin.
Man, what do you tell your team that at half-town 30 when you haven't? Well, I mean, I guess you stopped them 2 out of, so they have 6 touchdowns. They had 8 drives, so you have stopped them 2 out of the 8.
It's still not a great number is when your team has 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Grayson Steele and the kickoff team heading out there getting ready, getting some last minute instructions if I was able to read the special teams coach correctly. See where this ball goes. Still throwing out signals. I'm trying to steal the signs. I'm just not sure. This ball's either getting pooched right or left.
Well, they have kicked it deep the last few drives or the few kicks, and they do kick it deep this time. And yeah, honestly, I was wondering once after they kicked it deep that first time and they were able to pin them inside the 10. I was like, why not just keep doing that? And they have done it back to back or for 3 straight kickoffs. And
This time the Rough Riders
take
the free.
Time, yeah, they're going to be at the 25.
Yeah, take the touchback.
Yeah. I'm sure their special teams coach told them stop trying to return it, fair catch or take a knee, so we can get at the 25 and not at the 10 or inside the 10. So 57 seconds left here in this first half. We'll see if the Rough Riders can do anything down 30.
Another false start.
Man, I kind of stopped counting, but that's at least 8, I believe, minimum. There might be some I might have missed.
Carter Dyer quietly has himself up to 112 yards on 14 attempts.
Probably got a majority on that last drive. Quarterback keeper, that's Chavez. Not much going there. Another flag.
Sportsmanlike conduct on the QB.
Yep. Chavez gets the unsportsmanlike penalty, costing his team 15. That's 20 yards in penalties on back-to-back plays.
Now, Northwest with 3 timeouts. They can be a little aggressive maybe. It would not surprise me the way this offense does things. You have them backed up on their 10. You want to at least try to force a punt.
And I'm looking down. Is Keaton real? Okay, he just had. So, Rough Riders keep it on the ground. Clock is ticking, so assuming the Texans aren't going to take a timeout, try to get the ball back and possibly put up a last second touchdown.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised myself, because especially this being 3rd down, you could have kept the timeout on offense.
Yeah, you never know, you might be able to block a punt.
But I think you're also content going in up 30.
Yeah, up 30 points. So 4 seconds left. And they do get a last-second playoff. That's Kyle Kennard, good-looking run to end the half. So if you stick around, we will have performances by both marching bands. You're watching the Rough Riders versus the Texans on Vype Live.
If you're tryna buy or lease, or sell your property, I can be the one you call for all your real estate needs.
Hi there, I'm Lily with Lily More Realty, and I'm a proud community member and Northwest ISD sponsor. For me, your experience is personal.
If you're tryna buy or lease, or sell your property, I can be the one you call for all your real estate needs. Yeah.
Injuries can be overcome. Returns can be triumphant. The top of your game is well within reach. From comprehensive care to advanced research, everything you need to rehab, recover, and refuel your performance is in the playbook at Texas Health Sports Medicine.
Jumping Jack Flash, Ruby Tuesday, and Paint It Black. Drum majors for the Spirit of Saginaw Band are seniors Abby Cola, Madeline Nutley, and Cole O'Brien. Drum majors, you may begin when ready. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the first Saginaw band. The first Saginaw band is on the direction of Matt Pearson, Allison Holland, Tim Gilbert, and Jesse Rodriguez. Color guard assistants are Art Merchant, AJ Lindoga, and Denny Marie. Percussion directors are Danny Gilbert, Dustin Nixon, and Aaron Tucker. Marshall instruments are George Itchy and Cat Lee. For Dave Black, who wish the best of luck to Northwest High School and the remainder of this season. A pleasure with you.
If you're trying to buy or lease, or sell your property, I can be the one you call for all your real estate needs.
Hi there, I'm Lily with Lily More Realty, and I'm a proud community member and Northwest ISD sponsor. For me, your experience is personal.
If you're trying to buy or lease, or sell your property, I can be the one you call for all your real estate needs. Yeah.
And we are back, just about ready to get the second half kickoff. 42-12 lead for the Northwest Texans, up 30 points at the half, and they do receive the second half kickoff. So how do you think the second half is going to go, Brandon?
I think Northwest definitely knows that they got to stay on the gas, make sure they put this game away. They'll come out and get the ball first possession, be ready for maybe, again, some trickery, some type of sneaks from the Rough Riders, the kind of things the lower team has to pull out in a game like this. Not much to lose, you know, so I wouldn't roll out a sneak onside or something like that to start this half. But once the Texans get the ball, expect them to be aggressive. We saw that last drive, just nothing but the ground game. Ricardo Dyer did it all himself. But we know how good the passing game was. Jake Strong threw for 3 touchdowns in the first half. So I wouldn't be surprised if they can come out and do that again, but I think they come out and score this first possession and try to milk it after that.
Yeah, I was going to say put away the game, but I mean, I guess you still could say put away the game. 30-point lead, but I mean, it's still a whole half of football left. So yeah,
but
I guess if you go out and score, and that is kind of the exclamation point on this game, and say, yeah, this is basically over. You can score a little bit, but
I don't know if you caught this, but in the student section, this man dressed as, I think that's Moses.
I see it now. So a short kick, kind of a pooch kick, not exactly an onside kick, fielded. Short return is going to give the Texans great starting field position. So yeah, you said it, and I called it like way earlier in the game about onside kicks. If it's me, and I've seen the way my defense is played, you're a touchdown or turnover, I'm going to onside kick it every single time I score or have the opportunity to kick it off, because the way I see it is, if you're going to, the way the Northwest offense has gone so far, like they can score from 70, they can score from 60, they can score from 40 or 30, so it doesn't really matter where you give them the ball. So you might as well at least give your chance an opportunity to keep the ball or get the ball, rather than just kick it to them and giving them the opportunity to drive the field and put points on the board. It's a I don't know if you would call it a win-win situation. It's a no risk-free situation, in my opinion. You know,
much higher reward. I understood. And I don't know if you caught in that play. They threw a swing pass out to Joseph Rivas and caught it, fumbled it, and then dove back on it.
So another fumble for the Texas offense. That's the only thing that has stopped them so far in this first half is the fumbles. And it's a 3rd and 7 coming up here.
I don't think they've had a 3rd and long all day.
Let's see how they respond to it.
The Riders show one high safety.
They still have Dyer in that running.
It looks like pressure's coming.
Call coming to the wall. And the pressure is coming. They pick it up well. For a second they do. Saginaw Rough Riders get there, and that's the first stop of the game.
Yeah, first true stop other than the fumbles. The pressure came. It was picked up, like you said. Great job by Dyer sticking in there, picking up his guy. Jake Strong's got to get rid of that ball, get out of that pocket much quicker.
Absolutely. So the Rough Riders' first drive get a stop. That's a good sign for their defense. Let's see if the offense can do something with it. Oh, and it's a horrible snap. Oh my goodness. Huge play for the Rough Riders. Punter just couldn't corral the snap, it looked like, and then try to get it off at the last second. And the kick coverage got in and were able to tackle him.
Grayson Steele had to go down to pick it up and a little bit to his right. And the way he had to come to his right, he came away from his blockers.
Yeah.
So allowed that outside pressure to get to him. And what a minute and 46 seconds to start this first half. If you're the Rough Riders, you forced 3 and out. Northwest has put the ball on the ground already.
You have it in the red zone. You got the ball in the 20. See if they can capitalize on this great field position. See if they can get a little swing and momentum. Quarterback keeper, and nothing new here. Another flag.
It's going to be an illegal formation.
Formation,
they didn't have a receiver on the left side of the field.
Left side, yeah.
I don't know what that was. It's pretty obvious. He went in motion.
Yeah. Man, do we have an exact count on how many flat penalties they have?
We'll see. I know Dallas Morning News does have the penalties. They only do accepted, so I know there's been a couple of declined penalties.
Yeah.
They had them at 8 first half penalties.
And that's only accepted, so there could have been some declined. And that was 8 in the first half. First play, you get the ball. That's another one.
And yeah, I don't know who that's on. You got to have someone on that side of the formation. Make sure you got the ball on the right hash.
And that's honestly been their problem so far. The second they'll get a big play, and then right after that it's a penalty, what a false start or whatever it may be, holding, I don't know. So Chavez looking downfield, he has a man. Possibly could have been a PI, but there is no flag.
Wait, there is a flag around the quarterback.
Might be a rough in the passer.
Back at the 30. I think our ref forgot to turn his mic on, but unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense.
They give free 15 to the Rough Riders, but to be fair, that did look like pass interference. So I mean,
yeah,
they kind of bailed out the Rough Riders for the non-call.
Chad Phillips never got his head around. Had his helmet right in the chest of the receiver trying to come back to the ball.
Yep. So one way or another, they did get their 15, 1st and 10 from the 13 for the Rough Riders after a few penalties. Looking downfield. And that ball, is that intercepted?
Yep.
It is. So the Texans get a stop. They get an interception. Couldn't make out the number.
15.
Daxon Doggett. So Daxon Doggett gets the interception. Stops the Rough Riders drive in its tracks.
Very entertaining first 2+ minutes.
Man, so you get your best starting field position of the game. You're set up almost like you know you can possibly get a score here, and then you just throw an interception. And honestly, I'm surprised they even threw it. Like at the end of the first half, Kyle Kennard was running like he was getting some momentum going. Like he didn't get a single carry on that drive.
He's got 143 yards in the first half.
He didn't get a single touch on that drive. You gotta get your ball carrier the ball.
Cummings back in as the back. We can see him and Dyer just kind of completely rotate drives and series.
Another flag.
With West moving early.
Texans are pinned deep after the false start penalty.
This is definitely an area though they can try to get something vertically. Look at these corners up on the receivers. Not really a deep safety. You got one guy kind of playing a short center field.
And they are throwing it. Strong's in trouble. It's a screen pass though. It's complete. Finally brought down close to the marker. I believe he is short though.
No, they moved the chains.
No, they give so they give him the first down.
Okay, that's a really good play call there by the offensive coordinator, Clark. When the pressure's coming, what do? You throw a screen behind it. Dangerous running it in your own end zone.
Oh yeah. That pressure was in his face in a hurry. So back to the air they go. Strong looking downfield, is going to scramble. Wide open field. This might be a touchdown. There's nothing but green grass in front of him. Huge play by Jake Strong, and he does score. Huge play.
82 yards.
Huge play there, but there is a flag, unfortunately. Oh no.
And you wonder where, because he was away from.
It looks like
he was away from all the defenders.
it's on the defense.
So we get a call.
Yeah, it's on the defense.
It's on the defense.
Okay, I don't know what it was, but it's on the defense. Man, huge play by Jake Strong.
Yeah, we got scared by the flag and kind of undersold it. 82 yards. Another
unsportsmanlike conduct.
And I feel like that could have been maybe a sideline.
Yeah, it had to be. Yeah, for sure.
But I told you, Jake Strong has big time wheels. Sometimes he'll run a little too early. And, I mean, on instinct right there, it looked like he maybe dipped too early, but it worked to his advantage.
Oh yeah.
Because again, the Saginaw was playing man coverage pretty much across the board.
So the extra point is good after the 82-yard run from Jake Strong. Huge play, cashes in on that drive. Get ready to go back to school and back to sport at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Shop and store online at academy.com. You can find all the hottest sports gear and casual styles from Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, and more. Jake Strong with his best Lamar Jackson impression, taking off and burning the whole defense.
Well, we had some pit stops on the way, but that's how I thought the Texans would open the half, scoring first and taking the 49-12 lead. It got a little weird there for the first 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Ball trading possessions multiple times inside the Texans' 40.
Yeah.
But the Texans able to win the long battle on that one and come away with the points while keeping the Rough Riders scoreless in that opening frame, second half.
Another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Rough Riders. So the Texans will be kicking off from the 45
of the Rough Riders.
The Rough Riders 45.
They are across half midfield.
This is incredible. So many penalties from the Rough Riders.
You gotta do some type of squib, onside. Make them play it.
So it's fielded at the 10, is brought up. It's going to be brought down at about the 14-yard line.
I think that would have been auto fair catch territory.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It should have been. So I mean, just from what I know from playing ball and the way things usually go, and I know that from looking at the Coach Dane Johnson, the head coach for Saginaw, his lineage, his bio from everywhere he's been. These kids are going to be running. Yeah. Not only does it not make sense, but these kids are going to be running. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or Monday, but they're going to be running. All these penalties. It's just way too many penalties this game. Yeah, they're going to be running.
Little play there. Preston Scrivener, senior safety, hadn't called his name much today, but very solid player in the back end of that defense. He comes up and makes that tackle behind the line. But yeah, the guy who helped build the South Lake program from the very beginning, and like I said, been to Hebron, been to Allen, and he played at Texas Tech.
Yeah, you would expect the team to be a little more disciplined, but at least this game they have not been at all. So many penalties. Chavez looking downfield, the ball falls incomplete.
He took a shot.
He did.
Trying to see that 44, 45. It's 34. It's Gavino Ramos.
We've called his name a lot. A lot. Gavino Ramos been in that backfield a lot so far in this game.
Star Telegram.
He does have a sack. He does have a sack earlier.
Star Telegram Defensive Player of the Week back in week 2.
So 3rd and long coming up here. Just a quick shovel pass. That's Kyle Kennard. Brought down in this. Guess who? It's Ramos again. Gavino Ramos on the stop. So the Rough Riders set in their punt units. Chad Phillips goes back deep to return. Gets the punt off. Decent looking punt there. It's going to be down at about the 45. Mark it at the 43 to be exact, and that's where the Texans will get to work.
After that long run by Strong, last possession, he's over 100 yards a day on just 4 attempts.
Oh, yeah.
and 2 scores.
Well, yeah, I mean, an 82-yard run will definitely help you. Well, he had, what, an 82-yard run and a 25-yard run, correct? So, yeah. Oh, yeah, he has 100 yards on just those 2 carries.
Yeah, which that puts you right at 107, but then sacks count as negative yardage.
Yeah. So back to Dyer they go. Not much going there.
Down Rough Rider in the Texan backfield.
We do have an injury timeout.
Check
keep it here.
Yeah, we're good for now. To try to get you a number we can. 49-12 Texans, 6:28 the 3rd. Well, looking ahead, we'll be back tomorrow in our same spots. VR Eaton and Keller Indians. To see this, that's pretty much the battle for 2nd place in this district. Who gets to be runner-up to Southlake?
Yeah, respectfully.
The down Rough Rider is up on his feet now, trying to get the number 50. He helps the sideline, but he's up and walking with his own power. Cameron Thomas.
So the D lineman Cameron Thomas walking off the field under his own power. Hopefully he's okay. But yeah, touch back to our game for tomorrow. Eaton versus Keller. Yeah, that's going to be most likely a huge game. Like you said, it is probably respectfully going to be the battle for number 2 in the district. See who is the 2nd best team in the district behind Southlake, most likely. But you never know. Eaton does play Southlake later. They might be able to win, so
we'll have that game.
Yeah, we'll have that game as well. I'm looking forward to both of those for sure. Remember, Keller was on like a shutout spree earlier this year. Had a few shutouts back-to-back games. As that ball is complete to Keenan Real, picking up the 1st down. And Eaton's coming off a huge win last week.
Over Byron, the battle for the stadium.
Yep.
I was able to text Coach Miller today, and he did confirm the whole Fussell debacle with the jersey. He just forgot his jersey, so we got to wear number 16 that day.
Oh, and he just overshoots his receiver. I believe that was Shannon Deniki streaking down the field.
Just a tad too much on it. Put a little bit more air under it. Give the Nicky a chance to run and catch up to it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was very confusing last week because Fussell usually wears number 12 and we were calling the game, and then finally we realized he's wearing 16.
Which is the number of a linebacker on the defense team.
Yeah, so we're like, wait, what? But the you could tell it was him just from like the way he was playing, his play style and all that. So we knew it was him, but we were a little confused with that. And then basically the whole second half,
it was Noah Lugo.
Yeah, Noah Lugo comes in. He's playing the whole second half basically. So we're like, is he hurt or what's going on? But yeah, most likely we'll probably see Fussell a majority of the game tomorrow because I do believe it'll be a close game tomorrow. Excuse me. So 1st and 10 coming up here for the Texans. Jake Strong dropping back, looking downfield. He has a man. That's Keenan Real. Oh, and they just misconnect.
And Keenan Real had it. That one's off his fingertips.
Yeah.
That's one he probably could have had in the back. Had to speed up a little bit to catch up to it, but that's a few plays now. The Texans have streaked free behind this defense. Some collapses in the secondary. Don't forget the long Jeskovich touchdown in the first half.
Yeah. I forgot about that. You're right. Yeah, a lot of big plays given up by this Rough Riders defense. And here comes Jake Strong trying to do it himself, and he does. Breaks the tackle, gets in the end zone for his 3rd rushing touchdown. He said, you know what? We can't connect on the long ball. I'll do it myself. I'll get in that end zone.
That one for 26, a 25, a 26, and an 82-yard touchdown runs for Jake Strong.
Yep, a hat trick on the ground. I think he has 3 rushing, 3 passing, correct?
Yeah. He's competing with Kyle Kennard for the rushing leader in this game.
Oh, yeah.
And that's back-to-back games with 6 total touchdowns for Strong. Had 6 passing last week.
Yep. Showing he's a true dual threat. After taking that visit to Kansas State, putting some good plays on film, trying to get an offer. And you know what? You keep playing like this, that offer will sure come.
Strong now with 23 total touchdowns on the year. 18 passing and 5 rushing. The rushing feels a little low.
Yeah. Well, is that including today's game? Or
yeah. No? That's me adding it in my head.
Oh, wow. So he only had 2 rushing touchdowns coming into this game. Interesting. It's kind of like when you told me J.B. Brown only had 4 that one game, and I was like, really? And then he proceeded to, I believe, run for 3 in that game.
The 82-yard run was Texans' longest play from scrimmage this year. Previously, Cummings had a 66-yarder. There's no way their longest passing play is only 48 yards, right?
I mean, well, the way they've been missing their deep shots, I'm honestly not surprised. They've had opportunities, they just haven't been able to convert it. But that Logan Shevchik play, that was...
I think it was around 60.
Yeah.
50 to 60. Let's see. Well, we can pull it up. It's all right. Do some digging here. Jeskovich touchdown was 55 yards.
So that's their longest pass play of the year.
Yes. So the two longest
plays of the year happened in this game.
Yes.
Incredible. So the Rough Riders back to work on offense. Man in motion in the backfield. Chavez scrambling, finally brought down for a loss. I think that's Gavino
Obviously, you don't
Ramos.
have to look. You don't have to look.
Yeah, yeah, you know who it is. Gavino Ramos in the action again.
When you see someone shoot out of a cannon,
yeah.
Gavino Ramos.
Kind of reminds me of Brock Hayward from Eaton. Like, he's all over the play, all over the field, making plays all over from the linebacker position. You see your play being made, trying to check. You're like, you know what? Do I really need to check? It's Brock Hayward. It's Gavino Ramos making a play in the backfield. That's, you know who it is. So quarterback keeper Chavez, not much looking for a place to run. Not much to go. Push out of bounds. It looks like he might have lost a few yards on that play.
They know something about, a thing or two about linebackers in this area. Talking to you pregame about a former Texan who was at University of Washington playing, Cooper McDonald. I think he might have, he was a 3 or 4 star recruit out to Washington as a linebacker. Check today, it said he's technically still a true freshman because of the COVID year.
Yeah, because of COVID, yeah.
But I'm continually just impressed with the linebacker play of all these Northwest ISD schools.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and that's a pick. That's Chad Phillips. Threw it right to him. Right to him.
And intercepted by Chad Phillips.
Yeah, Chad Phillips was behind the receiver and just the overthrow.
Yeah, it looked like Chad Phillips was the receiver on that play. That's another name we've called a lot so far in this game. Chad Phillips.
That's a new quarterback.
Sure is. So, Bryce. Huge play here.
Oh my Lord.
Wow. And the Texans are just pouring it on at this point.
Well, Kyle, it's an interesting little battle. If you look, Kyle Cummings wears number 22 for Northwest. Kyle Kennard wears number 22 for the Rough Riders, and maybe a little battle with the Kyles.
Yeah,
Cummings with his best run of the day.
22s.
Kennard's been having himself a nice little day, but Cummins had a nice kind of early first quarter and then kind of disappeared, but very impressive run there. Backup quarterback comes in and makes it as easy as possible.
Yeah. The backup quarterback is Bryce Etchison.
If I'm not mistaken, the brother of Brody Etchinson. He was on this offensive line last year. He was one of the he was the leader really of that offensive line a year ago.
Etchison's a sophomore QB, so he's getting a little experience. And Strong. Jake Strong's only a junior, so he has 1 more year left. So 63 points by the Texans. And I mean, we said it. Rough Riders defense has given up 60. I believe this is the 3rd game in a row. Fifth time this season they've done it.
Yeah, 4 times in the last 5 games, and the game they didn't was they gave up 52. Other than that first week 1 win.
Yeah. At this point, yeah, there's not even any hope of really coming back. I mean,
I'm trying to look and see if
51-point lead.
Looking to see if Brody Etchinson maybe had continued his playing career, but not popping up on the search. But the name's spelled the same. Definitely, I'm fairly certain that's Brody's little brother.
Yeah. Kyle Kennard. Ooh, beautiful run here. That Le'Veon Bell type. Yeah, Le'Veon Bell type. When he was in Pittsburgh, patience. Man, I used to love the way he used to run that ball. I can't believe like his career's like went the way it has.
He's getting some snaps from Baltimore this past week.
Yeah. But I mean, I believe they started Latavius Murray though. They have like 5 veteran, former Pro Bowlers in that backfield. They got Devontae Freeman, Latavius Murray, Le'Veon Bell. Am I missing any? I feel like they have one more.
And then I know they have that rookie.
Tyson Williams, yeah.
And then you had 2 good running backs get hurt, and
yeah,
Dobbins and Edwards.
Yeah, Dobbins and Edwards, 2 good backs, both lost for the season. But yeah, so this is the 3rd game in a row the Rough Riders have given up 60. They gave up 60 to Heritage as well. So Kennard again, he's been the one bright spot of this Texans, or excuse me, of this Rough Riders team. Another good looking run from him.
You gonna undersell a hurdle? That's one of my favorite plays. Kennard, a hurdle, the defender trying to go low to get those extra yards.
Yeah, I mean, he's out there playing his heart out. He's making plays, breaking tackles, hurdling defenders, doing it all. But his team's down by 51 points.
Yeah, it's just when you don't have a threat vertically, there's been no kind of reason for the Texans to be worried about someone taking the top off or getting behind them.
Yeah. Back to Kennard, they go. Not much going on that play.
Junior, number 50, Andrew Greer, nice play. Getting to him first. A lot of backups in there on defense. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, you have a 50-point lead. It's time to get some other kids playing time, you know. Yeah, this is the game where you're like, hey, who hasn't been in? Who hasn't been in?
Well, look at our 2 deep depth chart here, and some names we don't even know are going to be out there.
Oh yeah. Looking downfield, right off the fingertips. Ball falls incomplete. Bring up a 4th down. And the punt team does come out. Surprised they're not going for it here. Yeah, for as much as they trailed this game, I don't think they've went for it not once on 4th down so far. They've elected to punt every single time. Oh, there is a flag. Chad Phillips calls for the fair catch. Might be a hold. Another 15-yard penalty for the Rough Riders. How many penalty yards do they have at this point?
I think that one should give them 10 for 85, which still feels low.
Yeah, that feels very... Oh, and a horrible snap. Etchison's able to recover it. You got to just throw that away, man. Ooh, wee. Huge loss for the Texans offense.
That'll end the quarter, so we'll see on the other side with the 2nd and multiple miles. So when we say A miles, the couple miles.
Oh yeah, at least 2, maybe 3 miles. Wow, huge loss on that play. And that does end the quarter. Texans up 63-12. 4th quarter about to come up. We'll take a break and be right back.
Injuries can be overcome. Returns can be triumphant. The top of your game is well within reach. From comprehensive care to advanced research, everything you need to rehab, recover, and refuel your performance is in the playbook at Texas Health Sports Medicine.
Second down and something.
41.
Second down and 41. I mean, are we really keeping count on this?
For the sophomore Bryce Etchison trying to get some reps in.
Wow. So they just keep it on the ground there on that play.
I mean, Etchison appeared in their last game against Arlington Heights in that blowout. Appeared, got a couple snaps. Was 1 for 2 passing, 7 yards. That's all he has to his stat line for his career. Here he is with
he's only a sophomore, so he's getting some valuable experience here.
3rd and 37, the scoreboard behind a play behind the field. It's 3rd down.
Looking downfield, he has a man. Oh, and he's just off the fingertips. That was Terry Duncan.
Yeah.
Terry Duncan, number 5, the sophomore wide receiver, sophomore to sophomore, trying to make a connection on that play, and they almost did have it. But it will be 4th down coming up. And I mean, with it being 4th and 36, they are going to bring out the punt team.
Terry Duncan, definitely someone I expected to call a bit more this year. He got playtime as a freshman last year on this team. And I thought we'd be seeing him a little bit more. But I think just so many other playmakers have emerged. It really, I mean,
oh, wow. So Bryce still tries to run on the field late as they're snapping the ball, and he's going to push him back more.
But again, looking at the stat leaders for this Northwest team, they feel really young. Carter Dyer is a senior, but then Jake Strong Jr., Kyle Cummings Jr., Terry Duncan's a sophomore, Chad Phillips a sophomore, Joe Rivas a junior, Danicki a senior, Riel Jr., Jeskovich Jr. A lot of juniors in this team, so this Northwest team's
that snap
positioned to be
able to rally, get the punt off. Takes a Texas bounce, still rolling, finally down at the 50. That's probably the best possible outcome out of that.
Disaster
yeah,
possession.
With that being said, you said a lot of young players, so the future is bright for the Texans.
But a lot of juniors, yeah, so the team can be primed to come back next year. Jake Strong senior year, Kyle Cummings senior year, Jeskovich. We still have Chad Phillips, Rivas.
Not much going on that play.
Conversation on that Rough Rider offense, but they get set.
Keep it on the ground. Good looking play here. That's Kyle Kennard again. Yeah, like I said it, man. He's the one true bright spot on this Rough Riders team. He's been playing hard the whole game, making plays, making men miss, hurdle the defender.
He's been the main guy for the team. Averages about 77 yards a game in those blowouts. Had 6 touchdowns coming into this game. He's got 2 today. He got both touchdowns, so he's got 8 now, and over 500 yards now in the season. So almost changed his numbers to 100 yards a game.
They go right back to him. Penetration in the backfield. He's not going to get much. He might have lost one.
Jason Foster, and number 49, A.J. Hooker.
Oh.
Lost it on the
Chavez
exchange.
just loses his footing. Loses another yard on that play.
They lost the ball on the exchange. The ball's on the ground. He's able to recover. Seen a lot of balls on the ground today. It's not like it's not like it's been a weather. It hasn't been rainy or anything. Or it's
yeah, it was windy, but that doesn't really that doesn't affect the ball being fumbled or dropped or whatever. I mean,
it's probably still in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, it's 82 right now, but I mean it's clear, so it probably feels like probably like 76. I'm not a meteorologist, so don't quote me, but oh, another loss on that play. Yard. Just a little upset, and understandably so.
Junior DB Casey Foster, 17, shot back there for that big play. I simply don't get this.
What?
I know you're not going to come back in the game, but still, what's the point of punting?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, they've been trailing the whole. Even though they did have that little kind of spurt, that kind of. Oh, that's just like you just said. There's been a lot of balls on the ground this game. Phillips unable to corral that, and a little extracurricular activity. I mean, I'm sure you're losing 51 points. I'm sure a lot of those players are pretty frustrated.
I can tell you one thing this Rough Rider team's been doing. I don't think it's dirty. I think it's more just their coach to finish through plays.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of
driving players into the ground.
Kind of late, staying on their guy.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a coach thing.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it is a little extra. Like the ones I saw in the deep corner, I thought was back in the first quarter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this one, right? The one I just saw, that looked pretty dirty to me. Like, I don't know. I mean, why you got so much effort on the end of the play, man? Put some points on the board. You know what I mean? Where's your effort at during the play, man? Why you gonna make a play after the play's over? Why don't you do it during the play, man? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But yeah, touching back on the punting subject, yeah, they've been basically getting blown out right out the gate, and they've never even thought about going on fourth down, which has been very surprising to me. Hunter getting a lot of action this game. Good run there. That's Kyle Cummings.
I think the QB now is Letty Thompson, another sophomore. Notice number 12 out there now.
Yeah, so they switched the quarterback again.
With the other sophomore, some action.
We got two sophomore quarterbacks. That snap. Lady Thompson keeps it. Good looking run here. Picks up the first down.
Nice blocking by number 20, senior Tris Turner. We get late in the games and deep in the depth chart like this. I like to try to shout out everyone you can. I was one of those bench warmers in basketball, so I want my credit.
Huge hole there. I believe that's Kyle Cummins again. But just to touch on that, so you got two sophomores backing up Jake Strong. I feel like shouldn't one of them be on JV trying to get like some game action? Because I mean, for the most part, I mean, unless if it's a week like this where you're blowing out the team they're not going to play. So if it's me, I want to play football. Like,
right, you don't want to be a third
string.
string.
On varsity, but I want play football. You know, like you're not gonna play this year most likely. You're not gonna play next year either because Jake Strong is junior, so he'll be back. And then you're gonna have to battle for starting time for your senior year. You might not play football in high school. You know, I mean, I don't know.
Be interesting to see. We don't obviously know the JV level in teams.
So the Texans are driving somewhat. See if they can put up 70. Be the first team to put up 70 on the Rough Riders.
Good job taking their time.
Yeah, they are taking their time, so it's not like they're trying to pour it on. They're just running their plays. That's Dyer and faked it. That's Letty Thompson breaking tackles, picking up a first down. Maybe trying to get himself moved up the depth chart.
Letty Thompson.
Come out here, make a few plays, let the coach know, hey, I want to be the backup. I want to be number 2.
Fortunately, can't get the size on Thompson. He seems small.
Yeah, he's
a sophomore.
Yeah, he's small.
You got Edgerton listed at 6 foot 175. Again, his older brother was a big right tackle here.
Well, Edgerton earlier when he was in, he looked small as well. But I mean, to be fair, if you look at Ricardo Dwyer, he is 6'1", 190. He's a big back, but still, like Edgerton when he was in next to Dyer, he was kind of like towering over him. So that 6 foot might be a little generous, and that 175 might be generous as well. And yeah, Lady Thompson looks like he might be even smaller, honestly.
Earlier we were talking about Dane Johnson's history for Saginaw. Well, let's touch on Coach Poe a little bit. He was a McKinney High School grad, played college football at Hardin-Simmons University. He was a QB there. If I'm not mistaken, he played with his offense coordinator. I remember learning this last year. I think he played with, Brad Clark, I think, was a running back there, where he was a QB.
Interesting.
Starting the Texans, and then this is Coach Poe's 8th season at Northwest. He started coaching in 2000 at Irving MacArthur, QB coach. He was there from 2000, 2005, and 2006 he was at McKinney North for a year as OC, and that's kind of why they play McKinney North every year. I forgot the name, but he's friends with that head coach over there.
Yeah.
So that's why they have that out of conference game every year, basically.
Nice.
From 07 to 09, he was the offense coordinator at South Lake.
Seems like everyone comes from South Lake. Huge run here, making men miss. This is Letty Thompson, man. Letty Thompson's had some good runs on this drive. You know what? That's probably why he's on varsity.
He definitely has been making a lot of right reads and making guys miss.
Yeah.
Coach Poe got his first head coaching gig in 2010. He was at Longview Spring Hill for just a year. Not familiar what happened there, and then was just there for a year. Then went to Marble Falls for a year to be OC, and then got the Northwest job in 2014.
Dyer loses his footing after a small pickup on that play.
And all these, both coordinators, Bobby Allison, the defense coordinator, and Brad Clark, offense coordinator, and Coach Poe, they've all been here since 2014. They've been together for 8 years now as a staff.
And it is the victory formation for the Texans. No need to add any points to this already blowout win. Good show of sportsmanship there.
Defense pitches a shutout in the second half.
Yeah,
when we get a game like this, we can kind of mix the post game into the end of the game.
Yeah.
So scoreless second half pitched by the defense.
Yeah.
It was 43-12 at half. 42-12. 42-12. Yeah. They've been even for once. Texans haven't done any 2-point tries.
Yeah. Yeah, 42 point at the half, 21 in the second half. Dominant win from start to finish, honestly.
6 scores in total for Jake Strong. 3 on the ground, 3 in the air.
I mean, this is what we thought was going to happen. Like, we looked at the box scores and the stats from both teams, and we figured, yeah, the Rough Riders just aren't that good of a team. Honestly, I was expecting a shutout, so kudos to them for coming out and putting up points on the board, albeit it was only 12, but still. They did give up 60 like I thought. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully they can get a few wins later in the season, you know. You'd hate to see a team win the first game and then just lose the rest, but I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I look back at it and see they do it, because I mean, they're very undisciplined. All those penalties, their defense could not stop anything. I mean, Kyle Kennard is a baller. He made plays left and right. So, I mean, he may be able to bring in a win on his own. So, who knows? But
yeah, a little bit for Saginaw. This is kind of the difficult part of their district schedule, playing Brewer, Azle, and Northwest to start out. You think maybe they can fare better against Arlington Heights, who took a bad loss to this Northwest team as well.
Yeah.
They get Granbury at home last game of the season. Granbury, when I saw them last year, not a great program. Had some struggling. Crowley. I don't know about Cooper. You're probably scared going to Cooper in 2 weeks.
What, Abilene Cooper?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They probably don't have a chance in that game.
But then you get Crowley and Granbury the last few to try to pull something off. But wrapping it up here in the post game on the Vype Live Network, something for the Texans to kind of look back, focus on. You know, you gotta build on the good stuff and then find what you did bad and try to correct it. I think they had a little bit too many penalties themselves. They had an unsportsmanlike. They had a handful of, actually. What if I told you Northwest had more penalty yards?
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Let me get one last refresh to make sure this has gone final. It has. Again, I'm using the stats of Dallas Morning News, which is brought to us by Mark right next door in the box. But Northwest, 7 penalties for 119.
Wow. And what was the final tally for?
I've got 10 for 85 still.
That's crazy.
So I think Northwest can look back on cleaning up some of those penalties and
not
putting the ball on the floor.
The thing about that is some of those penalties are probably declined. So, because I could tell you just from a blind eye, Saginaw had more penalties for sure. 100%. They did.
Oh, they did have more penalties, yes.
But the yardage, yeah, you're right. Like, Texans did have a number of unsportsmanlike, which is 15. So, yeah, they do need to clean it up. They are coming off another win, huge back-to-back wins. So I believe they won 52-7, if I'm not mistaken, against Arlington Heights. So, yeah, it's a building block for the rest of this year for them.
Some quick final stats we'll run through, and I think you'll get a whiff at some of these. Northwest 29 first down, Saginaw 8 total yards, Saginaw 206, Northwest 635 total yards.
Wow. 630.
But here's the things that are interesting. Of Saginaw's 206 yards, only 43 through the air on 6 of 20 passing. For Northwest, only 156 in the air. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead. Northwest had 479 yards rushing. This is BYU versus Texas stuff.
Yeah.
163 yards on the ground for Saginaw.
Almost 500 yards rushing. That's incredible.
I'm going to have to get something checked, because I don't know how Letty Thompson had 3 carries, 134 yards.
Yeah, that's incorrect. No, that's incorrect.
He was in for a drive, right?
Yeah, he was in for a drive. That's incorrect, 100%.
So,
that's incorrect. He probably had 35, 40 yards rushing though. He had 3 big runs on that drive. So he for sure had at least 40 yards max. Definitely not 100.
Yeah, I think there was just a mistype there.
Yeah.
wait for the Northwest themselves. They normally do a great job of keeping their max preps updated stat-wise.
Yeah.
So wait for those to come out maybe. So slow it down on that. On his numbers at least, but I know Ricardo Dyer had 21 carries, 145 yards, and Jake Strong had 5 carries, 133 yards, and 3 scores. Dyer had 1 also. So that's 200 and almost 80 yards right there. And then Cummings had 11 carries for 98. So that's...
Oh, man, they couldn't get him to 100.
It's a few short. The team did have the minus 31 on the bad snap.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Jake Strong, 9 of 15, 156 yards, 3 touchdowns in the air. Logan Jeskovich, 2 catches, 68 yards to score. Terry Duncan, a 25-yard catch. Shannon Denicki, a 24-yard touchdown. Cummings, a 14-yard catch. Real, 11-yard catch. Joseph Rivas, 2 catches, 5 yards to score. Chad Phillips, a 9-yard catch. So really, the passing game was super just pedestrian, I guess you'd say. Even though you still had the 3 touchdowns, but you were 9 of 15, 156 yards. But do what you got to do when your running game's doing what it was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never saw Saginaw really in their backfield, you know, making making negative run plays.
Yeah, no. Not a bad place for the Texas offense. I mean, they had the 2 fumbles. Other than when they had that loss when the backups came in, the bad snap. The starters had the 2 fumbles, and that's really it. They did get stopped the one opening drive in the second half, but other than that, like I said, dominant from start to finish. Seemed like they scored at will, honestly, and they did for the most part. But I think that's gonna do it for us. Texas get the win, 63-12. We are back tomorrow night for Friday Night Lights. Eaton Eagles will be taking on the Keller Indians. That should be a huge game. Should be a good game. Battle for possibly number 2 in the district. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, tune in, 7 o'clock kickoff again tomorrow. We said Eaton and Keller. Big matchup. Expect a big crowd.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just Keller's not too far from here. All right, well, that'll do it for us. I'm JoJo, and this is JoJo and Brendan. We will be right back tomorrow.